But I will say that, like, I probably am wanting to go for something that doesn't need a lot of editing, like, just the time. I've spent hours, editing,
Yeah.
and so I might, if we can, just have something and it be just post it like that, or minimal editing.
Absolutely. So it's a Friday morning. Jason is getting his horse gear, or I guess I should say your cowboy gear, ready.
That's right.
And
Getting ready to ride.
getting ready to ride. Having a ride is nice. Because if you don't have a ride, it's not nice. So the truck that I'm driving is currently in the shop, so Daddy Jace had to pick me up this morning at 6:30 in the morning.
Allie, come on. Allie, woohoo. Target, come on. Come on.
So while Jason is getting the horse, I want to ask him a few questions.
Okay.
If he's able to concentrate, I don't know.
Come on, Allie.
But
Allie, come on.
so we got a trick today, or a teaching lesson, and Jason kind of informed me a little bit. He can probably better say it himself, but essentially we're going to ride on Sugar this morning, and he's going to get her to walk forward and to walk backwards today, but more so at her own command, or a better way to say it, he's not going to force it, but he is solely doing it at his command. So basically not having to use spurs or whatever you use for cowboy stuff. I'm not really much of a cowboy at all, but this is kind of more out of a choice for Sugar. And so he may not be a shepherd, but he is a cowboy leading Allie to still waters.
Did you just say still water?
Yeah, that's a very still water. It's clearly not moving anywhere.
Come on, Sugar. Come on. Good girl. You notice how Allie is staying put? She's not crowding me. She's been trained to stationary target.
So you just tell her to target and
stay. Just like I'll tell Sugar to stay, and she should stay. And
now, will the horses listen to my command, or?
That's a good question. I don't know.
But you're clearly like, you tell them and then you feed them a treat.
Yep.
And so that's
Come on. Good girl.
the positive reinforcement. Now, how much, I guess if there's positive, there's also negative reinforcement. Have you used any negative reinforcement on your horses?
That's all that I ever used when I first got started. And then good girl. Then I started getting interested in the trick training and liberty training. And that's kind of how I discovered positive reinforcement.
And and I know you've talked about on your YouTube channel probably plenty of times, but for my sake, how much of a difference has that made?
Well, it's just completely different. And so basically I'm trying to create like a partner instead of a slave. Um, and so it the difference is kind of in the horse's attitude mainly. It's something that they just love and want to be a part of, whereas with the negative reinforcement, it was just a lot of pressure and something that they did because they had to do it rather than them wanting to do it. And so I guess that's the main difference, is the horse's attitude.
Because can horses be pretty stubborn?
Yeah, I think good girl.
That's just what I've heard. I'm clearly not a huge animal expert, so
I think that, like, when people, I always used to think that too. Stay. Um, but I think what is maybe mistaken for being stubborn um, is just, hold on. I still have a lot to learn, so I'm just kind of guessing. But a thought is that what is mistaken as being stubborn may actually be just horses not knowing exactly what you're asking of them, or just there being a lack of clarity. But like when they know what you want them to do, I think they do it. Especially if there's something in it for them and something that they love. But see how she's just staying, and I'm trying to get her to raise her head a little higher. Good. I used to have her put her nose in the ground while she stood still, and I realized that's not the best thing, and so I'm trying to get her head carriage a little higher while she's what we call, well, in the calm default position, or in the traditional world, it's ground tying. But
so I guess what you're saying is that it's more of a communication barrier.
Yes.
So
How does that transfer into human life, Luke?
well, I mean, you're making me think of like um well, take marriage for instance. There are times where you and your spouse can get in some fights, and really it was never like through bad intentions, but just through bad communication.
Ooh.
And
Ooh,
something I actually heard this recently, that over communication is better than no communication. So that's that you're teaching me a lesson right
so you're
there.
saying with horses, giving them more rewards can be better than good girl, than not enough rewards, maybe.
Well, I mean, let me communicate more clearly. You were saying that they just didn't. You're saying their stubbornness was solely them thinking like, I don't know what you want me to do, so I'm just gonna stand still or not move, or
Yep.
which, I mean, hey, if you can get rewards for learning, maybe I should start rewarding myself more. I don't know.
That's right.
Should you reward your spouse for hearing clear communication? Here are some roses. You understood me. I'm a little bit sarcastic. I do apologize. But no, I mean, like, it's when you can actually understand people, It's very nice. Well, I mean, there's that too. There's nothing more frustrating than, like, I don't know. You thought you were supposed to do one thing, and then turns out you're supposed to do something else, and all because of miscommunication. But it is funny because I think we intentionally had other things to talk about in this video, but I'm catching myself talking, talking communication, talking language. Which, hey, I mean, that's good stuff to know, good stuff to, a good skill to have.
Girl.
So, why exactly are you cleaning her hooves right now?
Well, basically, if you can keep their horses' feet in good shape and their teeth in good shape, you basically have a healthy horse.
So how do you keep her teeth, and do you brush her teeth?
No, in fact, you're exposing my hypocrisy, Luke.
Uh-oh. I'm not exposing your
I'm
hypocrisy.
Just, I'm kind of just spouting off stuff that I've heard. So, but I do believe that keeping their feet in good shape is important. But you can have their teeth filed because the teeth can grow and wear in an uneven way, and so the older they get, I think their teeth, they can not eat as well or something. Boy, I hope some real horse people don't watch this video.
Now, did you just say file their teeth?
Yeah.
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
Do they do that to you at the dentist? Is that?
It's not as bad as that high-pitched sound of the drill.
I was about to say, when you hear that, that's like, whew, that was painful for me to even say. So, wow, file their teeth. That sounds horrible. I would hate to be a horse. But
so one thing, I'll let you elaborate on this principle, Luke. I'd love to get your take on this, but with positive reinforcement, we do a lot of liberty work, which is basically, I don't have a halter or anything that's tying her here. She could leave whenever she wants to. So basically she has the choice to either participate with me and stay, or she could walk away and not be a part of what we're doing. And so that's something that's kind of pretty cool, that she's a good girl, that she stays here. What do you think?
Well, I like the intentions of that she wants to obey you, and not that she is forced to obey you. I mean, really, in a spiritual sense, one of the fruits, or the very first fruit of the Spirit, is love. And the Bible talks a lot about that love is the most important thing ever. And I think the Lord, it's very easy to view God as someone that will beat you over the head if you don't do exactly what he wants to do. And there are definitely consequences for our choices if we don't obey him. I mean, there are definitely severe ones. However, I feel like the Lord would rather you obey him out of your own love for him, rather than out of duty, works. I mean, that's where you can really tap into legalism. being religious. And I think even you tapped it earlier of how you tapped it earlier being you don't want your horses to be slaves. For us, I don't even think the Lord really wants us to be slaves. He would rather us be sons than slaves.
He gives us the choice in this life, to that we can participate with Him and do what He commands or wants us to do, or we can choose our own way. So can you back up, back. Good girl. All right, I need a spiritual principle right here, Luke. What's this? Spin? Can you spin? Spin?
A spiritual principle over spinning. Hey, the wind blows wherever it wills. And sometimes the wind of God is like a tornado. I mean, there's probably truth in that, but one thing I do really love is that when you get Allie to go backwards, it's very, we're talking about communication. Oh yeah, this is Sugar. I get it. This is not Allie. This is not the Wonder Horse. This is the Sweet Horse. Superstar. The Superstar. Sugar Superstar. So anyways, we briefly talked about communication, bearing fruit, doing things for God out of your own free will. And while Sugar was walking backwards, it made me think of there's a verse in John 15 where he talks about how God is the vine dresser, and he takes out the branches, cuts out the branches that don't bear fruit, and the ones that do bear fruit he prunes. And I've never worked on a vineyard before or anything, but I've heard an illustration that on a vineyard with grapes, they can start bearing fruit, but then branches where vines start coming out. You got to cut back to where there's fruit. If you don't, the fruit will actually die out. And it's funny because you got to cut back to where there's fruit in your life. I think sometimes we can all have really good intentions. Come on, Sugar. And then sometimes it seems like we rabbit trail and things aren't as good as they were. But I think what is biblical is go back to the point in your life where you were bearing the fruit from the Holy Spirit. And, that's something we all have to do is if you're not bearing love in your life or peace or joy, there's something's not right. And it's very easy to get into your sinful nature. Very easy to let the world affect you and be angry, be anxious, let sin grow in your life. But the important thing is, even if you make mistakes, you can always run to Jesus. If you do anything wrong, you can always repent. And God's love is eternal, so you can always run back to Him and keep running toward Him. Even if things are going really, really well, we can still run back to Him. We can still go to Him as our source, as our life, because that's really what we're supposed to do. So, Sugar going backwards, that's what you said in your steps.
Yes. Well, so she went backwards on the ground. I'm going to get on her and see if she'll go backwards with me on her. But again, it's going to be, I'm going to give her a verbal cue, so she'll hear me say the cue, and then I'll probably lean back, and I may pull on the reins to give her a tactile cue, but it's not going to be in any way to try to generate pressure that's going to feel uncomfortable to her. So we'll see if that bears out in reality. So let's get on.
Now, do you ride Allie more than you do Sugar?
No, I ride Sugar. I'm having to rebuild the relationship with Allie, so I've had to go back to the beginning and good girl. We'll just stay here and do nothing. Good girl.
Sugar, you're so good at doing nothing.
Good girl. So just doing nothing is actually a thing. You know, just sitting here and not going anywhere is actually kind of a trick. So see how I didn't ask her to do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So she wanted to. Good girl. So I think she thought by moving forward was going to be what got her reward, and so I probably should have given her a reward sooner for just staying put. But now I'm going to try to go that way and see how it goes. Back, back, back. Whoopsie, back. Good. That's good enough. So I could have kept going, and you see how she went forward at first?
But then she corrected herself.
Yeah. I did have to go through all the cues. We haven't backed in a while. I've been working on going forward, and so I said back. She's wanting to. I think she's going to the bucket.
What's in the bucket?
Just all the tools, all the toys.
Do you think she thinks there's water in there?
No, I think it's just something that she thinks she can target. Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
So right now she's realizing, like, hey, if I go backwards, I can get a reward for it.
That's right. But I didn't ask for. Good girl. Good. I'm not doing too good because I'm a one-track mind. I can either talk to a camera or I can horse train, but doing both is new to me. So let's see if she'll go back. Can you go back? Back? Back, Sugar. Back. Back. Good. Good girl. Back. Back. Good girl. So this is probably the first time we've done this in 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So I'll see if she'll go this way.
And in horse time, that's like 7 times longer, right?
Yeah. You walk.
I really don't know how true that is. I just
Good girl.
thought that.
Walk. Walk. You go. Walk. 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 Good.
She's
Good
coming toward
girl.
me. Hey, Sugar.
Good girl.
Made me a little nervous for a second.
And then I'm gonna do one more back, and then that's gonna be enough for today.
So this is, I mean, we're obviously using videos right now. How long do you train Like what's training time look like?
Anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes of like actual, being on them. It'll take me, the time that it took to get her out and brush her, and that adds some time. But like the actual time that I'm on her, probably 5 to 10, 15 minutes. It's easier for me to go long, but I need, for her sake, I need to keep it short and sweet.
Oh, so if you train them too long, does that negatively
I
impact
think
them?
maybe their attention span isn't as good,
Oh,
and
they have ADD.
if they're not used to it, it just turns out to be ineffective or unproductive time. Just like long sermons in
Ooh,
church.
hey, okay. I don't know if it's the sermon or not. Maybe sometimes.
Back? Can you back? Back, sugar. Back. Back.
Oh, you're not going back. You're going toward me.
Back.
And I can smell your breath.
Back. Good. Good girl. Good. Good. That's real good. Wow. Real good. That's about it.
There you go. Friday Horse Training 101.